Hello everybody. Just gonna add kids up front. There we go. There we go. Hello.
Oh, hi.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Not too bad.
Good. How's your quarantine week?
It's actually been pretty busy. I've been pretty blessed with a lot of media action, so I cooking on live, so that's good.
Well, thanks for doing this for us again.
I hope your apartment has been fixed.
uh, kind of.
Yeah,
Halfway.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. That's better.
Yeah. So before you start, I'll just say a quick thing about kids up front and kids at home. So recently we launched Kids at Home, which is now a national program for kids up front. So it's on our website, kidsupfront.com/kids at home. We're listing all like resources that kids and families can use. We're listing all of the lives that we're doing. So you're on there. A bunch of other chefs are on there. It's awesome. It's a national program now. So we just want to bring as much as we can to the kids that are stuck at home right now. So if anybody wants to go check it out, kidsupfront.com/kids at home. That's where it is.
Awesome.
Yeah. So thanks again, and I'll let you get cooking.
Okay. Well,
All right. Bye.
bye. Okay, guys, so today we are going to make crepes. So I did a video already on how to make crepes, but we're gonna make them live, so you can see actually it's all real. It's a super easy recipe, recipe that I've been doing for forever, probably over 20 years. Probably started to make them when I was like 12 or 13. The first thing actually probably baked. So I'm gonna actually move the camera over so you can actually see what I'm doing. Not many ingredients. So it should be pretty standard things you should have in your pantry. So I'm gonna just tilt you so you guys can all see. If you have any questions, I'm gonna keep looking as well at the screen. Hold on, if we are, here we go. That's good, right? That is good. Okay, so we're gonna start with the flour. So we have 250 grams of flour. I'm just gonna put into a bowl. Then to that, I'm gonna add a pinch of salt. Okay. Then I'm gonna take 25 grams of butter, which I'm going to put in a pot. We're gonna make a brown butter, so it's gonna give a bit of like a nutty flavor to my crepes. So I'm just gonna put that to cook, and I'm gonna forget about it while we carry on with the recipe. Okay. Then we have 60 grams of sugar. Also, if you go on the Kids Up Front website, you will see the recipe also in cups and teaspoons and whatnot, because I know you guys in North America love your weird measurements. So my recipe is in grams. Then I'm going to add a bit of cinnamon powder. You don't have to. I like it, but just a bit of probably like half a teaspoon. Okay. Then I'm going to add a bit of vanilla. So actually, you know what? Before we do that, where are my eggs? I'm just going to grab the eggs, which are in the fridge. There we go. So we're going to grab 2 eggs. Okay. So first, we're going to mix the flour, sugar, so all the dry, pretty much. We're going to mix it together, just so it's nice and even. Then I'm going to take, that's kind of like how I do. I'm going to take the bottom of my ladle, and I'm going to create a well. So I think there's other way to do it, but I think it really works out if you do it with the end. So you have like beautiful well. There we go. Just going to keep an eye on our butter. So it's melting. It's not browning just yet. Then into the well, we're going to add, I would say, a teaspoon of vanilla, because I do love vanilla, but you can do less. You don't have to do it at all. Just shaking out my butter. And then we're going to add 2 eggs. Whole eggs. Okay. That. all butter is starting to brown. Okay, so we're gonna mix that together. So a lot of people, when they make crepes, they have a lot of lumps. So I'm gonna teach you how to make crepes without making lumps. It's actually fairly easy. Just gotta kind of like follow that one technique. So as you can see, our butter is now nice and brown, golden brown. So we're gonna have the beautiful nutty flavor. So I'm gonna put that aside for now because I want it to cool down a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna start whisking. So when we whisk, we want to start literally just the middle of the well. We don't want to incorporate too much flour. So by doing so, we're gonna avoid having lumps. Okay, so I'm gonna whisk a little bit, and when it starts to get a little thick, yeah, you guys can see perfect. So when it starts to get a little thick, I'm gonna add some milk. So I have about, actually, I have exactly 500 ml of milk, and I'm gonna add a little bit just to loosen that like dough. But again, I really want to go slow and then build like a really thick mix, which will prevent from having lumps. So you can see it's kind of like very doughy. And we're gonna add a little more milk. Also, if you want to make that recipe dairy-free, it's absolutely possible. You don't have to add the butter, and you can use like an almond milk or soy milk. I would suggest or coconut milk even, but that might be a little rich. So I'm just gonna add a little more milk. So that recipe is like proof, and I probably made over 10,000 cups with that recipe. So definitely a winner. So as you see, the mix is very smooth, and we're just gonna keep incorporating the flour, so kind of making that well a bit bigger, just like that. It's always kind of like trying to whisk to the side and make the flour falls back into the mix. I will look at the question in a second before I start cooking, so we can catch up on any question you would have. I just cannot see my screen right now. So I'm just gonna incorporate more flour. So we're almost done. There we go. So now we have a nice smooth dough. We're just gonna put the rest of the milk at this point. It doesn't have to be. Slowly, and then we're just gonna mix that in. And then we're gonna add our brown butter. Okay. And then we're just gonna whisk it all. There we go. So if it happens that you actually do not get a smooth dough, see that mine doesn't have like any lumps at all. But if you do have lumps, you can always use a sieve like that, and then pass your dough through the sieve, and that will remove any exceed flour clumps that you would have. Okay. So I'm gonna take you. So basically, at this point, we want to leave the dough rest probably for like 20 minutes to a half hour. We just kind of like whisk the gluten. So the gluten now is like kind of like stressed and needs to relax. So what would happen if you were to cook it now, your dough will be very active and might stretch a little. So we want to make it like anytime you work with gluten, you want to let it rest. That's kind of like the number one rule. So I'm just going to take you back up for a few minutes. While that rests, we're not going to wait a whole half hour because you guys are not going to stay live with me for that long, just waiting for dough. So I'm just gonna look if you guys already asked me any question. If not, we'll go back to the cooking. All right, do we have any questions so far? I'm gonna scroll the way back up. Oh God, there's a lot of you guys. Okay, so there's also like a box question down below, I don't know where, but if you ask through that, it's also easier for me to catch up. What's up, Matt? Hello, guys. You look mesmerized. Do I look mesmerized or do I look mesmerizing? Because it's a little bit different. I look like a lobster. Yeah, I don't know why you gotta say like I'm red. I'm not red. I don't know. I did not go tan, I promise. It's probably the lighting. Okay, sorry. I'm just scrolling through. Measurements, that's exactly. So for all the measurements of the recipe, if you come on a little later on the recipe, you can go back onto the Kids Upfront website, and then everything will be down there. Hello, Gopi. I'll show you my lunch when Chef Lomi. Yeah. Peter, thank you for sending me your food. Okay, so actually I don't see any question regarding the crepes right now. Are you doing another one at 4? I am not. What are you making? I'm making crepes today. So traditional French crepes. Okay, that's okay. So there's another version called galette. So that would be more of a savory dish. So that's something you would do first, and then you will make crepes after. So you'll start with the galette, and you'll put some ham, some sausages, some onions, whatever you want, really. That's the beauty about crepes, is you can actually make them the way you wish. There's no like right or wrong. The dough obviously is the one part that you want to make sure you follow the recipe, but then you can really adapt it to whatever you like. And whatnot, you can put some fish, some meat, some vegetarian, vegan. You can make the crepe vegan as well. Just gonna have to work on a few elements, but anyway. So I'm going to show you now how to cook the crepes. So I'm gonna move you onto my stove. We're not actually on the stove, but beside, because I don't want to burn you guys. Okay. So I did invest in a new tripod, so hopefully this is a lot smoother than last time. It's like I'm a professional now. Okay, so we have the dough right here. We're gonna use a ladle, so that's a 4-ounce ladle, I think. But we're not gonna make actually 4-ounce crepes. So you want your dough to be kind of loose, so you don't want it to be too thick. It's not a pancake. Pancakes are way thicker. So we have a pan. This is a medium-sized pan. We're gonna turn the heat on. So you want your pan to be quite hot, actually. And we're gonna take some paper towel. Okay, and then we're gonna fold the paper towel, and we're gonna put into a little bit of oil right there. So I'm gonna move my dough here, that's closer, and I'm gonna take a little bit of oil, and I'm gonna oil my pan. If you do not feel safe about putting your hand in your pan, which I completely understand, you can also use a fork. So you can use a fork. Where are we? Here we are. And then kind of just flip the fork over the paper towel like this, and then tie it, right? So then you would take your fork, put in the oil, and then kind of like do that way. So that way the fork does the work in all your hands, okay? But I'm crazy, and I've been doing this for a while, so I was gonna use my hands. Is there any other question? Can you make them with gluten-free flour? Yes, absolutely, yes. Gluten-free flour works. Almond flour, there's really many ways to do it. It's a pretty, obviously, like you will have more of an airy crepe, so it's not gonna like hold together the same, but you still have something nice and light. Hello, Sona. Thank you. Yes, of course, my pleasure. I love showing you guys what I'm cooking. It's fun. Okay, so our pan is quite hot now. So I'm gonna turn the heat a little bit to probably medium high. Then I'm gonna take some of the crepes. Okay. I'm gonna fill probably two-thirds of the ladle. I'm trying to see you. There we go. I'm gonna go closer. So 2/3 of the ladle. I'm gonna take the pan, and that's where the magic happens. So I'm gonna go in there, and then we're gonna go around. I'm gonna flick the wrists all around, and then kind of like spread the dough evenly. And I'm gonna put it back on the stove. Okay. So it's fairly easy. Then we're gonna take a spatula, which I don't have. Here we go. You can take a little spatula. So every time you use, so it's a Tefal type pan. So every time you use that, make sure you actually use plastic tools and not anything with stainless steel, so you don't actually hurt, like damage your pan rather. Okay, so then we're gonna kind of like remove, like unstuck the sides. So we're gonna lift them up gently. Then we're gonna check. Oh, look at that. So we're gonna. So okay. So if you're at home, you would use your spatula, and then kind of like go under, and then flip it like this. Okay. Look at that. It's like a professional cup maker over here. Like I say, I've made quite a few over the years. It's something that traditionally you eat at the chandelier. So it has like a religious connotation. But I don't eat crepes because I'm religious. I eat crepes because they're delicious. Uh, Anyway, we're gonna let it cook on the other side. Not as long as the first side. At this point, your crepe is cooked. It's not a pancake. Once again, you just want to make sure you have like a little bit of color, and then you just like cook it all the way through. Okay. So that's kind of like what you want to get. That beautiful, even golden brown that looks like Mars or the moon. This is how you know if your crepes looks like the moon, then you've achieved something good. So you just like slide it onto your plate. And I'm gonna make another one for you. I'm not gonna make them all because otherwise you're gonna be here for a half hour probably. I would say that recipe probably make about 20 cups, roughly, of that size. Obviously, if you get a bigger pan, it will be less, and if you get a smaller one, you can make mini ones. Obviously, you have a million. So depending on how many kids you have at home, this is your choice. And so I'm going to make another one, same idea, because we put the crepes, the temperature of the pan went down, so we're going to bring it up again. And I'm going to flip this one, okay? And hopefully I don't look like I don't look silly and failing at it. But I hope I won't. I'll see if you have any questions. More milk. No, it's actually this. The recipes are very different from pancakes to crepes. First of all, there's more liquid than flour. You also have like baking powder in pancakes, so it's more like a rising crepes. When a crepes is flat, you're not looking for any volume. Oops, just gonna go back because my alarm is on. At least I know my house is not gonna get on fire. Okay, so hot pan. Once again, I'm gonna put our mix, and then work the rest all around, nice and even. So also what's gonna happen if you have lumps in your dough, basically what will happen is when you cook it, you'll have the lumps into the crepes, and then when you bite it, you'll have little pockets of flour. So it's not something that's very pleasant to eat per se. Does the pan have to be flat? Well, the pan is like flat-ish. It's not like super new, so I've had it for a while. Technically, like the actual way to make crepes is on like it's a big round flat surface, but we're not gonna buy that to make that at home. So what you need is definitely a crepes that has like a T-foil bottom, so non-stick, right? So make sure our crepe is like unstuck. Please do not do that. I mean, like my hands are beaten by the years. But okay, so let's see real time if I can still flip crepe. There you go. Wow, first time. You guys, I hope you guys are applauding me at home because that was impressive. See, so again, you have the beautiful golden brown, moon-looking dough. So I'm gonna cook it the other side. Then I'll take you back on my face and look at your questions. And then, then you can go make some crepes at home. So that's it. A little longer. So they're very light and fluffy and airy. If you leave them, the longer you leave them, the airier and the fluffier and lighter they're going to be. So yeah, at least leave them in the fridge for a good 20.5 hours. And then just to show you the bottom of it, and it's kind of like the look you want. It's white. It looks almost like a taco shell, really. So it's a little. Oh yeah, and then you can just. So it should be like just easy and just like slide it on. That's it. Boom. And then you will continue on. You don't have to oil the pan every single layer. You can probably do 2 to 3 crepes without having to re-oil it. But you kind of want to just give it a little clean up so there's no anything from the previous crepe before. And I'm going to tell you what we're going to put on the crepes. I'm just going to move you back over. Oopsies. 180. Okay. Awesome, Flip. Thank you. Okay, so let me go back up to where we left it. Okay, so can you make them with the gluten-free? We talk about that. Are you having another live at 5? No, I do not. What makes crepe thinner? So yeah, we said more milk, just a different batter with chicken and cheese. Yeah, so you could make these ones with chicken and cheese, for example, but the recipe has sugar, so we just avoid to have sugar. So you can do the exact same recipe without it. Or you can make galette, but galette is made with buckwheat flour, so it's a lot stronger and has like a thicker, more gluten really. And this is my crepes batter moves away from the center. Okay, so if your crepe batter moves away from the center, it's not because of the pan, it's actually the recipe. You might be off, maybe it's too loose. Also, your pan might be not hot enough. So if you put your crepes batter, if the pad is not hot enough, basically, it's just gonna, you need to, basically it needs to be a shock of temperature between the pan and the crepes so it starts to cook right away. If you don't have that, yeah, your dough might just slide away. And if you have too much oil as well, it's going to split between the dough and then the oil, and then it will make your dough slide. Awesome, Flip. Thank you. What's your favorite crepe topping? Okay, so I'm a Nutella kind of guy. I'm bad like this. I actually don't even like anything else. But traditionally, like the Parisian style crepe would be beurre sucre. So butter and sugar. So we just put a little bit of butter, a little bit of sugar, flip the crepes, and then you roll it. That's like the traditional way of eating it. Bananas are great. You can do some chantilly. You can put some caramel, jams, honey. What else we can put on there? Oh yeah, peanut butter because we are in North America. Literally everything you can think of will go that's spreadable. Will go on a crepes. So yeah, lemon and sugar. Yeah, absolutely. You can go nuts. Like really, it's your favorite. So what I like to do when I host a crepe party, I usually have a huge spread of jams and honeys and sugars and whatever, and I will put in the middle of the table. People sit around and we kind of like do our own crepes. How old were you when you started cooking? I was 13 years old when I went to cooking school for my first year. So that was 21 years ago. I was a little while ago. Do we have any other questions? If not, I guess we'll wrap up. So I guess I'll wait for the next couple of minutes. What else can I tell you about crepes? They hold very well as well. So you don't have to eat them completely. I mean, like right now it's the best because it's hot and it's gonna like spread on them. You can also cook them twice. So from that step, you could put butter into a pan and then kind of like cook your crepes back into the pan. It will make it a little crispier. But that's something you wouldn't eat with your hands, something you'll eat with a fork and knife. So yeah, it looks like we don't have any more questions. So thank you so much to Kids Up Front for reaching out to me and allowing me to make food for you today and share a recipe. So it was a pleasure. Again, go check their website either to see what they're doing, and also you can have a look at the recipe we made today. Yeah. And I think that's about it. So thank you so much for tuning in. I'm sure we'll see you again soon. And make some crepes. And then if you do make them at home, you can always post them on your stories and tag me and Kids Up Front as well, so we can see what you've learned from today's lesson. So thank you so much. Have a lovely day, and we'll see you soon.